What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be back in another episode of What the Hell Do I Know with JB. This episode is actually being shot on Ash Wednesday, so I do not just have, I didn't just wake up and put black stuff on my forehead. I went to a service at Good News Methodist and had some ash put on me. You can check out my social and look at why Ash Wednesday is observed. But and it dates back to the late 10th century. It's actually amazing history and origin. Yes. So it's really cool. In fact, after we got done with Ash Sunday, I went over to Pazzo Italiano and went to have lunch with my wife. My wife and I went to Ash Wednesday service together and went over to Pazzo, and we walk in, and this older guy comes in, and he had ash on his forehead too.
That's cool.
And was like, "Hey man, hey brother," it's like we were in this club, and it's kind of cool. And when he got done, he said something else to me when he went to leave. And this guy was in his late 70s, early 80s, and he didn't know what to do with me, which I actually felt really good about this. He stuck his hand out to shake, but then he saw that I was a little cooler than that. You
got a fist bump?
I got a fist bump from this senior citizen that, honestly, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool. I'm cool. We're cool
hang
together.
out with him on the pod. We got to find him again.
I can't. Can you imagine the stories he would have?
Yeah.
The life he's lived. I'm
in.
That's good. Hey, we love you. Everybody that's over the age of me, I love you, and I'm for you.
But Cindy Cole's got some stories.
Cindy's got some stories. She's lived some.
I make
for
a story.
Sure.
I live in the dream, making the story.
Living the dream, making the story.
Every
now
day.
that's a line. Yeah. So, but I do want to welcome you to our Floors.com studio. That's FLOORZZ. Floors.com. They are your one-stop shop for your next flooring or wall covering remodel. So check them out, Floors.com. They'll deliver everywhere to you as long as you pay the freight. Or, you probably could order enough and they wouldn't. Heck, I don't know. Just call them and tell them the Jabroni sent you. They are good people. And I love it when I walk up and they're like, hey, we got another call from the Jabronis. It makes me feel really good when the Floors.com people appreciate your business from
y'all need new floors.
Audience.
You've been thinking about it.
100%.
Don't wait until you sell your house to fix it up. Enjoy it while
just
you're
go to Floors.com. They got designers and everything. They'll work with you. It's amazing. Floors.com. Check them out. Floors.com. FLOORZZ.com. So, but I do want to introduce my guest today, which is Cindy, the one, the only, Cindy Cole. Yes, that's studio audience, by the way.
At least a legend in my own mind.
That's
legend, infamous.
Hey, you got a website? That's pretty.
I have a website.
Yes, website Cindy Cole Fine Homes or ccfinehomes.com.
A couple billboards out there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, I always see the billboard right there. Across from Jacacuda's. Jacacuda's kind of across
Orange
the street.
Theory.
Yeah, Orange, kind of around that Orange Theory and
That's where the
Destin.
traffic accidents are,
It is.
Yes, where everybody's looking up and checking Cindy out and what she got to sell, and then bam, bumper to bumper.
I do have to remind people, Jason, that I actually pay for those. It's not a...
Oh, no, I know that.
It's not
So, Cindy, I don't want to ask, maybe you can just do a finger up or down, but there was a time that I knew people that were doing somewhere in the neighborhood of like $3,000 a month for a full billboard.
Yeah, it's not quite that bad.
So it's come down a little bit.
Yeah.
That used to be like the media, so especially if you're on like I-75 or something like that, a big highway. So
I was in the businth in Atlanta.
In that business, billboard business.
Mm-hmm, I owned some boards.
Wow.
And,
that could be really.
So we're talking more, a little bit more than an extra digit on the 3. For
there, because Atlanta can get I guess it's high traffic. It's probably based on traffic,
is.
right?
And it's a top 10 market. Yeah.
Top 10 market. That's the one thing Cindy Cole knows, because Cindy Cole, I know you because the first time we met, Brandon's wife was handling the buyer side, which was my side,
right,
and represented my family. But you represented the builder side on the sale of the home that we built.
Your home, that's right.
That we're in today, right. And And that was really our first foray into the world of Cindy Cole Fine Homes.
God bless.
And
so
it was a great time, though.
Great. You bet. You're awesome.
If it
Honestly,
wasn't for
though-
Cindy, we wouldn't have met, right?
Agreed. Cindy actually sent you to my home to take pictures of it, and you thought that I was like a worker there.
She told me nobody was there. Yeah. Oh, there's nobody there. I promise.
And then he never left.
He just walked in. I know we built a room up
still
there.
here.
Danielle considers him my fourth kid.
I got to send him the Christmas ornaments.
That's right. He's on the list. But yeah, it was great time getting to meet you and deal with that. And the one thing I know about you is you are a tough negotiator. And I think that's great in how well you represent your clients. And what was funny is we realized that, when we were purchasing this home, for us it was it's a big purchase for us. It's big,
yeah.
And it was a great home, and we continue to try to level up our game all the time, and we're always doing that sort of thing. But this was a big purchase, and we're moving to a different section of town outside the gates, all these things. And I can remember, wow, okay, there's some thought to this, and I got a contract over, and I went and hired an attorney,
and then you married an attorney,
and I married an attorney. Well, that's the one thing though. If out there, and attorneys will tell you, and if your wife's an attorney or your husband's an attorney, he'll tell you the worst thing you can do is represent yourself. So we hired somebody who was specialized in real estate.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, like halfway through, we realized that, oh man, we just, because it's such a big person, we want to protect what we were doing. We've never really done that before, but this was really.
Well, you were building.
We were building and we were doing some different things.
Right.
But then halfway through, we realized that, oh man, these are good people. We didn't need this jabroni. So we still friendly with that attorney, but we were like, hey, look, we got it from here. We're good. And I'll never forget, we went into Norm's house, and you may have been there, and we were sitting there, and when we finally signed the contract for the amount of the home, and we walked out, he ran out of his home to tell us that he had actually miscalculated something, and we're talking like in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, that he miscalculated something in our favor.
And he ate it.
After we signed the contract.
Yeah.
I would never have been the wiser. I thought to myself, man, when I grow up, I want to be just like Norm.
Yeah.
You're saying, oh, I see what you're saying. I don't remember that. Maybe
He
I
ran
wasn't
out
there.
and caught me and said, hey, we need to modify. This is after I signed,
Wow.
wrote a down payment check to him,
I don't
walked out of the
remember
house.
that.
He came back to say, no, I need to reduce the price down.
Yeah, he's
to
that
your
kind of
favor.
guy.
Yeah,
He's
that's
that
really
kind of guy.
class.
And I was like, man, and that's why I was like, okay, we really did it. When you first meet somebody, I was like, all right, these are tough cookies, and I want to get this right. And then I was like, no, it's just a straightforwardness about it, but it just great people, and we've since become friends, and that's what's so great about it. So I'm so thankful, because we've been trying to get you on the show for probably the better part of a year.
And I'm still questioning that decision.
That's funny. You're
I was
lying.
waiting for you to back out.
Can't get out of there?
I thought we wasn't going to do it today, honestly.
Juice was texting me like, are we really doing this?
Is this
Are
really
we really
happening?
doing this?
Cindy,
This really
I bet on
happening?
you the whole way.
You did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, Brandon believed it. Brandon believed
believer.
it. Yeah, I know. I didn't believe it until she told me I'm on my way.
I fill my day as much as possible, and then I
keep your mind off of doing this. But it's such a we're like I said, we're $10. Nobody watches this. We're a $10 podcast.
16,000
hanging out
people,
here.
dude.
apparently Heather Parrish does.
Yes.
Hey, shout out Heather.
Hey,
Heather.
shout out Heather. We changed the camera angles on your
Heather,
request.
Look, you can see my
No, hey, look, we love comments and feedback. We really do. I give everybody a hard time. But I love it when you tell me, like, hey, I'd like to hear more about this. I had somebody said, hey, you're talking too much. And I try. All I can do is tell you
that was me, dude.
Juice. Say, JB, can I say a word?
Are we allowed to actually drink our cocktails?
Yes.
Or we just
Yes.
It's America.
Yeah,
Cheers,
hold
y'all.
it.
America.
Cheers. It's America.
Cheers. Yeah, our drink of the day today is a little bit of a mixture on whatever you wanted. I've got some B Cellars wine right here, which you guys know if you follow me. B Cellars, one of my favorite boutique wines. You find them in Napa. You should check out their wine list. I don't think you're going to find this in any of your local wine stores, but I like the boutique vineyards in Napa.
You have some good wine. I don't know I don't know if you quite realize when your wife just comes over to my house what fine wine she actually brings.
She does good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I tell
he's got
people,
plenty to-
I tell
I
people
know.
that's my thing. If you come into my house,
That's
you say,
right.
"What bottles can I open?" I was like, "Whichever one you want."
Anyone.
I don't stop
Y'all,
anybody.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's how cool Jason is.
Yeah,
if you want a bottle of wine, he doesn't care what it is. You open it.
There was I heard somebody say it years ago that they had a close encounter with death, and they had always like, I'm saving this bottle for this, or I'm saving this for that, and they just thought, what am I waiting for? And I thought the same thing. I mean, if you're over at my house, you're my friend. And so if you go in there, I want you to drink whatever you want and just pour me a glass.
His address is...
Well, Cindy knows it too, but we're not saying that out loud.
Well, last time Cindy was over there, Georgia lost a football game, I believe.
know. I haven't been back.
Have they ever lost? I
still think that was Kendra's fault. She knows it. I've had a discussion with Kendra about this, so I still think that was on Kendra.
It had nothing to do with Georgia.
She was in pain.
No. Look, sometimes people bring a mojo that just doesn't work, so we don't know.
Yeah,
but
we don't know.
I told Kendra
of
should have come to the last game of the SEC championship. She could have revived herself. They did win that game, but yeah. At any rate, so Cindy, it is now time to play What the Hell Do I Know with Cindy Cole.
All right. 7
questions, rapid succession.
For me?
For you. I'm going to ask you 7 questions, rapid succession. I had a guest, I guess it was my last guest, hijack my questions and start asking us questions.
I know. He did us all with other.
It was great. He did a great job. He was ready for it.
But
I
love that now.
So 7 questions, rapid succession. You can pass, too, if you don't want to. Pass is totally cool. There's no gotcha questions.
Are there any topics that are off limits? I'm
going to ask the questions, and you're going to answer them or pass.
What?
Okay.
You want to answer them and pass. It's a hot seat. What the hell do I know with Cindy Cole? Let's put the clock on and see if she can get through this. Here we go. All right, Cindy, number 1. Do you have a song on repeat now? And if so, what is it?
I've been listening to my morning jacket every day when I get home. That's my new band. But in the car just now, to prepare myself mentally for here, I was listening to Gimme Shelter. And I was
all right. I love this.
I can't hit the first soprano anymore, but I was trying in my car.
No, this is great, Cindy. Great. Number 2, favorite vacation spot.
Ooh, I'm craving Italy again right now.
Do you have a spot in Italy that you like? Florence
I like
is
northern,
great.
Florence.
Yeah.
But I went to Paris by myself last year.
That's so awesome. By the way,
minute.
I give you such props for that sort of thing. It's so cool.
It was
Paris
awesome.
is a cool city. Can be overwhelming though.
No,
it wasn't for you.
I'd been before.
You've been before, yeah.
I just went last minute by myself.
I just always feel like it's got a lot going on, which is
me.
cool.
That's me.
There you go. Number 3. Where have you lived?
I grew up in a little town. I think we've talked about this. Royston, Georgia.
Yep.
Got to Atlanta as fast as I could, so I consider that home.
Yep.
Lived here. Worked in New York for 8 years, so I commuted back and forth to Atlanta.
City. Yep.
Yep. New York City.
New York City.
So that's it.
That's awesome. So a lot of East Coast, but great cities, great towns.
Traveled a lot.
Great here. Here's wonderful too. Number 4, favorite restaurant here on the Emerald Coast.
Oh, Vintage.
Vintage.
That's
Vintage.
I get my mail.
Do you like? What do you like? What's your favorite thing at Vintage? Just bonus question.
Oh gosh, the veggie plate now. Add protein. Have you had it?
I haven't had it, but I'm going to try it.
Oh.
I'm going to try it now. I love their salads. By the way, pro tip: lunchtime salads, whatever it is, get it. Thank me later.
And they, everybody knows your name.
Yeah, they are good.
They
are good.
Place. Yeah.
All right, number 5. What was your first car?
Okay.
I'm ready.
I know it well.
I'm ready.
I got a car when I was 15. I don't know why. I shouldn't have, but a Pontiac Ventura Sprint, which looked like a Nova. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
You do?
No, I don't. Novas? You don't know what a Nova is?
You don't remember Nova?
I'd have to see a picture.
We'll have to put a picture up on one.
Pop it up.
So it had a burgundy vinyl top and burgundy leather interior.
Okay.
Automatic.
Burgundy vinyl top.
Yeah.
Oh,
was pretty cool.
What did they have one of those? Was it a cloth top or no vinyl? Inside vinyl top.
No.
Up top, outside vinyl top.
Yeah, what color was it?
Burgundy, right?
It was, the top was burgundy and the car was silver.
Silver, all right. That might have been a cool little car.
I was pretty
You're proud of it?
Yeah.
All right. Number 6, who was or is a female hero for you?
Ooh, I could stir up some controversy. I mean, I have a few.
Past or present? Alive or dead?
I just did a book study. I believe Danielle was there.
Okay. She does go to your
around Maya Angelou's work.
Yeah. Danielle loved that book, by the way.
Yeah.
She really did love that book.
I would say as far as being outspoken, and I think of myself as somewhat of a writer, at least in my own mind, that her wisdom is so amazingly crafted and well recorded, and she was so brave to speak out, way ahead of her time and at great risk, and the longevity of her work is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. And I don't know that I'm sure I have things that I love about her and things I don't, right? But every hero is that way, right?
Yeah. So my favorite quote, do you want to hear that?
Love
my favorite is
just clock runner.
When somebody shows who you are, who shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
When Tiger shows their stripes, believe it, baby. That's what my mother-in-law used to always tell me. Number 7. Most famous person you have met or know.
Ooh, that could stir up some controversy.
Yeah, I love it. Give me all the controversy.
Hey, Bill Clinton, who was controversy?
Well, I used to run
into talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
I used to run in some pretty interesting circles in Atlanta.
Oh my God, it was Epstein.
Elton John?
No. I sat across from Lionel Richie the other night at Houston's for dinner.
Can
you believe that?
I know. Yeah, that's Houston's in Atlanta's a hot spot.
Yeah, and I was involved in some charities in Atlanta with Jane Fonda. So
Jane Fonda's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I was at her house.
She wasn't a female hero of yours? Oh, she could be. You don't have to agree with everything that Jane did in certain spots, but, people evolve and mature. But, by the way, you are now off the hot seat.
Okay.
Let's give it to her. Great job. 7 questions. You answered them all. You did a great job.
I did it.
You crushed it. And you gave us some great answers.
Yeah.
No, you didn't pass. But you could have Jane Fonda could be a hero.
Yeah.
She came to incredible heights from almost nothing.
Yeah. She was more of a peer at that time.
Incredible workout videos in the 80s.
Yeah. Right.
Who didn't have one of those?
All right, Brandon. All right.
Enough them calories. So great. What? That's wisdom. Come on,
That's
Jane.
wisdom.
This was far later than that. But,
Yeah.
but she was a great
Was
host.
this Ted Turner years?
It was. And I've been in his presence, but it's not like he'd say, hey, Cindy.
Hey, he's just another billionaire. I'm kind of tired of him. So,
Well, he's disappeared.
yeah. Well, he
go?
should. He's like 80.
He's
I mean, what do you want him to do?
Land?
Yeah, he's one of the largest
Montana.
landholders in the United States.
Bill Gates own a bunch
He's one of the
of
largest
land.
landholders in the United States.
Yeah,
I think he
he's not on
is
our
the
side,
largest
Brandon.
in Montana, isn't he?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I
Montana
just-
probably, but I mean, he may be one of the largest landholders in the United States.
Yeah, I think he
period.
is.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, and not just Montana, just in general.
He's just out riding a four-wheeler.
Well,
Up and down
I tend to think owning land in the United States still means something, and I
dirt.
want to dive
love dirt.
into that because which is what a great segue into it. But another cheers? Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
By the way,
I love
chicken
it.
cock.
I did not
cock?
give a shout out to some of our favorite bourbon, the oldest bourbon in the United States, chicken cock
Oh,
bourbon,
it is.
like
It's
1865 or
Yeah.
something
Wonderful.
like that.
It was actually owned by
It's
a
incredible.
president at one point.
It's incredible. It's out of Paris, Kentucky, which is the county seat for Bourbon, Kentucky, Bourbon County, Kentucky.
I'm going to the Bourbon Music Fest in September.
You'll
That's
have
Louisville.
awesome.
You're gonna be
you'll have some great
You'll
bworbon up there.
die when you see the lineup.
That's
You
what
gotta
we
look
got to
at
do
it.
a podcast at the place at Chicken Cock.
I do need to.
during
That would be
That would
really
be
good.
awesome.
That'd be really good.
Look at the lineup. It's in May. It's unbelievable.
In May?
It's in September.
Better timing for me.
Yeah.
I can already tell.
Is this a Japanese oak barrel?
So, no, this is just the everyday, baby.
Okay.
This is just the everyday.
great.
You can find this at Shunk Gully Liquor Store here in town, right there off of 30A behind Shunk Gully Restaurant. But they've got great lineup of alcohol there, but they have chicken cock there. I think it's like $80, $79.99, but I think you get it for $69.99 as a local.
Nice.
So,
Doesn't
bam.
want that.
So,
Our
how
pastor
about
name.
that? Yeah, and tell them the jabroni sent you. They will still sell it to you for $69.99
Exact
as a
same
local
price.
and
And they'll go, who?
they
I'm
will.
afraid to drink
The jabronis.
What'd you call me?
What'd you call me?
Oh, here, there's a
Okay.
that might work better
Yeah,
for you
thank
too.
you.
Yeah, for sure.
This is water.
Well, these mugs though, by the way, are from True North Pest Control. The
Hey, I
best
signed
pest
up. They
control out
came to my
there.
house yesterday.
That is
That'll
awesome.
work.
They're the best, aren't they? They are the best. I always give them a shout out. We also have a little commercial break for True North, but they're
We
great.
should probably run it right now.
Boom.
Yo. True North Pest Control. They are all over Central Florida, Georgia, and they just moved here to the Emerald Coast. I just switched my service over to them. You got to check them out. Tell them JB sent you. They'll take care of you. We are a bug-free podcast because of them. True North Pest Control. Now back to the show.
So we were out late one night, probably a few years ago, Cindy, with my wife and several other people, and we've been talking, actually crazy enough, we had been sharing about me doing a podcast years ago. And we were like the best thing you never. I used to write names down. Cindy would throw out names, and it's like the best podcast you never heard of. And
we just
crazy.
Make stuff
we just
up.
make stuff up and talk about a podcast,
right?
And we would do that, but and it was so much fun. But hearing your story, I heard you speak about really real estate, and I want you to give us a little bit of like a helicopter view of just what you've done and maybe how you got into real estate.
Okay.
And kind of where you're at right now with that.
Well, I actually came down in 2009, and I'd sold a couple billboards in Atlanta that I owned on the freeway, sort of as my final hurrah. And that business had changed so significantly by then; it just wasn't viable for a single operator to stay in it. And I was a single operator. I've always sort of been a solo entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, as I usually say. But so I invested heavily in 2004 and 2005 in real estate at the height. Didn't know what I was doing and lost it all. So I was wandering around up there trying to, what am I going to do? And I had one property down here, and I actually had to evict somebody. So I wandered down to it. It was definitely the hardest time of my life, but I'd never wanted to be in real estate because I watched people in Atlanta, what that looked like, my friends that were in it, and how it controlled their life and every waking hour, and how there was no surety to it. And I just didn't realize there was a different way to do that. But I came down here and I met Blake Marar, who at the time was Destin Real Estate Company.
Okay.
And he said, you really are a natural. You need to do this. And he was kind enough to mentor me for the first year and teach me how Blake sold real estate. So I have to I always have to give him credit that my model is built, after his, which is you choose the business you want, don't let it choose you. And unfortunately, when I hear young agents say, well, you got to start somewhere, I'm like, no, you got to start at the right place. You don't want to start by, if that's who you are and you want to meet people in the grocery store and sell their houses, that's fine. But I never did. So, but I've sold my entire career. So it has just gone extremely well since the very beginning. And if I've done anything right, what I've done is stick to my guns, just be very esoteric in my decisions and who I work with and work with.
Cindy, since we're $10 podcast, can you tell my audience what esoteric
I serve
means?
the few. I serve things that fit me.
I like it. There we go. That was actually for you, not me.
My gosh. It was for him.
And by that, Jason, I don't mean a price point. I just mean,
I know this. Yeah. I know this about you. Yeah. I just love the word.
That's how I am. That's how I pick my realtors I work for.
That's right.
Yeah.
Juice for show.
Yeah. I'm marketing background, so that has certainly propelled me to, stay strong in the market. Don't do that many transactions. It's just
big ones.
They're not all that. They're not really all that big.
The ones I shoot are pretty big.
Well, but they're not. There's a lot of agents that do a lot bigger deals than I do.
That's true. Yeah.
I like, if I'm going to pick something that I want to work with, I want to sell it. So I'm not trying to develop inventory and gather it and hold it for any other reason except to actually sell it.
Yeah.
So,
you're definitely a closer, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like to think that. So it's been a great business. It's evolving right now. It evolves every few years.
Well, and kind of like, where do you think the market is right now, and the biggest challenges you see in the market today?
There's definitely a stall. In our market, we're dealing with a few things that all markets don't deal with. One is, I usually say, and it's certainly not the case in all categories, but most categories for me, is we're not selling shelter, we're selling dreams. So we're expendable. In your case, you bought year-round property.
Yeah, sometimes at some point I'm going to sell it to somebody for their dream.
But you bought year-round property.
I did buy year-round for me.
I usually am not. I'm usually working second homes. So that, dreams are expendable. So they're not as many people pursuing their dreams.
It's not what you have to do when the economy is tight.
Right. But there's a few reasons for that. The other big category for me is investment property. Is it a bit of a stall? And there's a few reasons for that, too. I mean, one is, interest rates. Not that I have very many loans involved in my transactions, but I mean, like I have one fixed account right now paying 6 1/4. You don't take 6 1/4 out to pay cash.
No.
For a house you don't have to have.
Right. That's exactly right. Well, most people don't realize too when somebody has a portfolio. For instance, I have different asset classes, right? I have equities and venture capital and real estate and whatever. But sometimes you're pinning that against interest rates and doing different things. Are. And so interest rates come down that can mess with your liquidity and your ability to do different things. Right.
I think the exceptions that I see are new product still sells if it's brand new. I think the properties that aren't brand new need to realize they aren't brand new and start to do some things to make them look and smell new, because there's a lot of people that haven't touched their property in many, many years. But it'll all, shake itself out. I mean, people want to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always, we're within driving distance the majority of the country's population. I mean, it's beautiful. I think it's just a little pickup in the market. But
and can I touch on that a little bit?
Sure.
I know a lot of people out there are looking about their home and should I buy a home? Should I sell a home? And interest rates come and go. But is it your experience that, yes, we've had this in 2008 and we've had a little lull now, post-COVID, but it is like a cyclical thing. It's up and down and up and down. It's it's almost like a stock market. It's a living, breathing animal.
If you bought a house between 20 and 22, you're going to need to sell it today for less than you
bought it for.
Than you bought it for.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've already done that.
Sure.
I did it at the end of the year, but my personal decision in doing that, and I lost, several $100,000 in, was I found something I wanted more. I just wanted to move.
Well, I've done that.
Actually, you were there.
Yeah.
You were there at that moment.
I've been in your whole life, Cindy. Your new house is awesome, yes. I haven't seen the remodel.
When I found this house.
Juice has been in her whole life. Since 2009.
I've shot her personal home like 4 times. She's moved
4 times.
Once a year. All right.
No, I don't.
I used to do that.
She's been here for a minute.
I just like
a year.
2009.
A year.
This house, yeah. But I haven't seen the remodel.
So
it's great.
She remodels and sells it. That's what happens.
Well, I've done that too a lot.
I've done a lot of remodel.
I'm just messing.
But can we tell you that story real quick about you?
Yeah, please. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
So we were going to shoot the house to sell it, and I'd already told my assistant at the time, I said, do not let me buy this house. Don't let me buy this house, because I just bought this other place. And she went in and she said, oh, God, you're going to buy this house, aren't you? And I was like, no, I'm going to let Norm talk me out of it. Norm is the builder, right? Yeah. And so I took Norm over and we got out of the car, and he goes, oh, my God, it's so you've got to have this house. And so,
it's perfect.
So
it really is.
And then I called
you
Jason.
Did a great job. Norm did a great job.
To shoot it. And he goes, Cindy, why am I shooting this house? He's like, just buy it. It's you.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying. I'm like, why do I got to shoot it then?
No, I don't.
You just want to give me money. Just give me the money.
Yeah. Let me stay home. It is right around your. It is right around the corner from you.
Swim across the bayou to my house. Yeah.
I didn't tell you I was thinking about buying it. You're the one that said, why don't you just buy it?
He knew it. He knew it already.
He knew it.
Well, because you're right around the corner from me. You were selling yours, right? Or you thought about it? I don't know.
No, I know. No. When you told me that, I had just gone to your condo like a few months prior to see that remodel, and it was beautiful.
It's the biggest lot on Buck Bayou. It has to be.
Oh,
right?
her. Well, now, yes, I love it. I love the house. It's great.
Lot.
Yeah, it's great. I like the bayou too. It's nice and protected in there.
Yeah,
it's really
the way
good.
It was set up. I mean, it's an older house, but
no, it's been redone.
It's
been completely redone.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it yet.
It's beautiful.
Sorry, you said that.
It's beautiful.
He said that a couple times.
I did.
That he hadn't seen it.
Oh, he hadn't seen it. Yeah. Well, nobody listens to you.
Exactly.
I listen to you.
Let me turn my mic up.
So that's where the market is right now. I mean, one thing too about the market, and like you said, I think it's interesting how you said down here we're in an expendable market. Is that what you said? Or
I mean, there's year-round housing here.
Of course there is,
and there are people who want to move here and live, but
yeah,
there's a lot of second homes,
right?
A lot,
right?
And then investment category was driving us for a while.
Yep.
And people, the great thing about investment property right now is, again, new product is still selling if it's still brand new. Mm-hmm. And people want shiny and new. But, I mean, think about it. Even if you're not making a 10 or 12 cap rate on every investment property like people were for a while,
right,
you can still make money on it.
You can.
And enjoy the use of it.
Well, that's what people forget. That's what I love about real estate is that it's not just the cap rate, but there's also the appreciation rate that's happening in the investment.
Exactly.
And so you have it. It's one thing that if you're thinking about buying a home and you're really considering it, people will stall. Now, I get it if it's a business decision and this is your business, is buying real estate and holding back, and you've got a portfolio that's diversified and you're running kind of a quasi-family office. I kind of understand that to a point. But if you're a family that's saying, I want to step out and buy a condo or I want to have something different.
Right.
I hate to tell you this, but now is the time. Traditionally, prices don't go down.
You nailed it.
The appreciation of it. So while interest rates can fluctuate, it's still
you're not married to it.
You're not married to it. You can refinance. You can do some different things. But where the prices are today, where if you're waiting for 2008 sort of thing to happen, I mean that was a unique situation. It's not happening right now. You're not seeing it
right now.
So I'm saying whatever day you're watching it, now's the time to buy. If you're considering buying and you're holding on to interest rates, if that's your one sticking point, and it's not really a business, a totality of a business. If you're saying, if it just dropped 2 points, I'll buy it then. I'm telling you, you're almost making the wrong decision.
Yeah,
you're almost making the wrong decision.
There's a whole thing of doing something that everybody else isn't doing. Mm-hmm. If I choose to do something other than the masses, then I benefit. Mm-hmm. I just got to be ahead of. So what everybody else is doing, if I do somewhat the opposite, it works. Right now, in 5 years, I'm saying if anybody, I'm not doing anything for Cindy Cole, but 5 years, if you wanted to place it in the Emerald Coast, this is the cheapest it's ever going to.
100%. If you buy it today, 5 years from now, it will be worth more. It just is what it is.
And they're not making any more of this peninsula. Emerald, you know what I'm saying? This
little island is
it's paradise.
They keep ripping houses. At this point, on my street, I bought one of the last raw lots that Norm built on, and I also had a western facing sunset there on the bay, which is like A++.
That's very rare,
and it is rare.
It's like
it is super rare. Basically. And there's just not much of it left. So really, if you think about my street on that west side, you're almost tearing houses down now to do something.
Yeah, you are. And Norm and I just bought a lot on the east side.
Okay,
I think that's what
which is like an A. It's an A side. It's just not A
on the east side by.
It's the sunset side.
Didn't you just shoot you just shot it?
No, the one. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sunrise versus sunset side. But again, they're sunrise folk.
But we bought the lot value for the house because the house is a tear down. But we had an offer on it within a week without it being on the market.
For the lot or you to build a house on? Just the lot after it's torn down or just after you bought it?
No, it's not torn down yet.
Yeah, but Norm ain't taking that.
No, we didn't take it. But
no, I wouldn't.
No. But I mean, we did.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's still people out.
Oh, searching for them, 100%.
The bay is very desirable.
The bay is a super desirable. If you're not on the ocean or on Dune Lake or something of that nature, and there's some great stuff on 38. I don't want to knock 38 off, but that's a vacation sort of area. Where I went to is the idea that this is a home. What I built was a home for someone.
That was the question I was going to ask. Do you have an idea
or
of
not?
Owners
or have
versus
it a second home
rentals, like second homes versus owners on like South Walton? Like, is it 50-50? How close?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the number either.
I would guess 50-50, right?
Well, so a lot of, if you're on 38, there are a mixture probably of folks that are second home non-rental.
Yeah,
but that's their decision.
Yeah,
but I would say the majority of a second home rental. That's what I would say on 38. It's a second home, but it's a rental. So in other words, I'm coming for And
Right.
God bless it. I'm coming
Right.
for whatever it is, a month out of a year.
Enjoyment.
And I'm doing it for a week here, 2 weeks there, whatever it is.
Exactly.
And then the rest of the time, it's essentially going to pay for itself.
Right.
By the way, if you are watching this and you're thinking about that investment, you're hearing us say, oh, interest rates, this and that. But that is why you need a seasoned professional when you're looking at a market like this. Somebody like Cindy Cole to come alongside you that has seen this time and time again, that understands cap rate and understands expenses and understands this market,
what it is now.
Well, and seasonality, understanding that because you if you have an agent like that, they can walk you through. Here's a perfect. This is the property you need to own. This is the property you need to buy, and not worry about your interest rate because the rental and everything else, and the appreciation, this is gonna cover.
But Jason, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make with agents, and there's a lot of good agents. It's certainly not just me, but
it's everybody I read.
2,500 agents in 4 miles.
I could skip a rock and hit 5,000. 5,000 on this island.
There's 5,000 in our MLS.
Yeah.
I'm an agent, by the way. I only do commercial.
For instance, one of the big mistakes I see people make on the Bay, and I see it time and time again, is the buyer's agent who has contacted me, the listing agent, to show the property, doesn't understand water depth.
Well, especially on the Bay.
So the buyer starts the desire to have, a 50-foot boat.
Yeah.
And immediately.
Let me tell you 3 places you can go to.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And so they've wasted everybody's time. They've disappointed the buyer. But it's just not their specialty area.
Well, you need to understand that, right?
You need to understand that.
I grew up, so this is where we have a connection. I grew up in Atlanta as well, but I was on the south side of Atlanta in Jonesboro, McDonough, Georgia area, but there was this Lake Spivey, and there used to be this guy, I think his name was Lane something. I still remember his name because he would go around on a pontoon boat, and he would take people to see houses on a pontoon boat in the spot, but he knew everything about it, like just... Here's where you can, knee board or wakeboard, or you can do this, or you got the slaloms here, or here's where we hang out to fish, and here's the, he just knew everything about the lake, and he just really specialized in that.
Right.
Yeah, if you grew up on it, that's
Do
perfect.
you see young agents, is that something, like newer agents, what would be the advice you would tell a new agent
Just
trying to break it? That's like specialize in something? Or?
But it takes guts.
Yep.
Because you have to say no along the way, and most people don't.
You want to take everything.
Yeah, most people don't have the guts to do that. So, and I'd say also consider your personality type. I'm a big believer in the DISC test. I don't know.
Tell my audience.
Yeah, where's that?
DISC.
Okay.
Which D is the driver.
Okay.
I is the influencer.
Okay.
S is, I think, systems, and C is compliance. So
I feel like you should get some sort of applause or ding for that, because that's pretty good. Remembering that acronym.
It never fails me in hiring or knowing. So I'm an ID. You're an ID, I'm sure.
I'm an IS. I remember taking.
I don't know. I haven't
taken
taken
it.
it.
I remember taking that.
If you're an ID, I want to be an ID.
You're
too.
an ID. So influencer is our strongest trait, and then driver. So we really shouldn't ever work for anybody.
I can't.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
It's not.
I'm good both ways. I think that's the S in me.
I have a hard problem sometimes even working with people.
Yeah,
that should be money.
Just do it my way.
IS is a great salesperson.
It is. It's ultimate sales.
Yeah.
That would totally be you, man.
I'm the Labrador Retriever.
He is. He's never met somebody he didn't like.
Yeah.
He's a
amazing.
retriever, but
he's a baby.
He's a retriever.
Shout out.
The IS
Get your vasectomies.
You should be the buyer's agent.
Yeah,
so you're also patient enough to go out and ride people around. And
I am so patient.
Yeah.
That you're right.
Yeah.
It is weird how we're all built that way.
Are you hiring him, Cindy? Are you offering him a job?
But I'm just saying, know who you are.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
And build a
you
business.
need to understand that. That's so good. That is so.
Build a business around that.
And if you can focus in on a niche, maybe it's young couples.
But it's also
it doesn't have to be a lake,
versus seller.
Right, but it could be. You're exactly right. Do I want to be a buyer's agent, a seller's agent?
We're seller's agents.
And I would feel that way.
Yeah.
I'd feel that way. By the way, I'm not an agent, but
Your wife
the other
is.
thing I'm hearing, my wife actually got a real estate license because she sometimes doesn't have anything else to do.
She just gets licenses. And
she loves to do it. She loves to do it. She got her interior design degree.
So
She's got her law degree.
Yeah, she's like school. I think that's...
Yeah.
She loves to learn. She just the other day I came home and she had this like painting deal out. Like she's got all this stuff and she's just like, I just kind of want to teach myself to paint.
Japanese origami
and
or something.
It's very intricate what she's doing.
Juice.
It is very intricate of what she's doing, but she loves to do that. She wants to read a book like I think a week or every couple of weeks. She really loves educating herself, and she's actually
always been like that.
I don't give her enough credit for this pod. The amount of work she does and help behind the scenes.
Shout out Danielle.
She made this.
It's crazy.
She did?
No, she did.
She
not.
got into neon.
She designed this set.
Oh, she did. She's great.
She's great. So
I mean, this kind of looks like her house. The wall.
There are. We do have some of these walls here, and she picked that up and said, "I think we should do it because that's soundproofing material. It's felt.
Right.
It's a felt backing with these wood slats, so it's
Right.
It really helps for audio."
Did she tell you what their next book is for a book club?
What is it?
You might not like it.
I like everything you do. What do you mean?
The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry is the name of it.
The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I like it. Probably slowing down in life if I'm betting the title.
Yeah.
If I'm betting the title, I'm betting it's to, scripturally it's be still, right? But scripturally be still. She just read a book by Mel Robbins called The Let Them Theory.
Yeah.
And she read that actually a few months ago, but really, honestly, she's given me all the tidbits. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, let them.
Let them. I already knew that.
Oh, yeah. You've been dropping fat on folks forever.
Like, dang,
I didn't need her to tell me. Why not write the book?
Write that book.
Yeah, but it's a great theory. I think sometimes we are people pleasers. We want to get things right, and I don't think you should be anti people pleasing. You should just not take it on that pressure on yourself. Sometimes people put pressure on you and they're like, no, look, I want to do right by you. But if I can, I can. And if I can't,
you don't go to your way to do it.
Well, it depends. I mean, it's not saying you shouldn't try, but it's just that when people get upset and you've done everything you can, you got to let them.
Yeah, you can't.
Or we can also call it codependency or enabling.
Well, codependency is a big thing for sure. That takes years of By the way, that book is not going to resolve your codependency problem. That is years and years of counseling to get through codependency.
Yeah. And
in fact, I would tell you there are things called Celebrate Recovery, and you can look it up online. There are churches all across our country that have great spots to help you with codependency, and I would give them a shout out, Celebrate Recovery. But moving right along, that is the ADD of this show.
Yeah.
Moving right along. If I'm a buyer, let me step back. Top 3 things sellers do right and sellers do wrong, because I know you really focus on the seller side of things. That's where you find yourself more. Not that you wouldn't work with a buyer, but you do work more with sellers. What are the top 3 things sellers do wrong?
Mispricing is number 1.
100%.
Yeah. And that's a big mess that you really can't recover from.
Right. Yeah, but that's always also it can be some of the hardest thing for agents to nail, especially if it's a moving market. Like if a market, if you're at the top end of a shift in a market, I've worked with agents that, and God bless them, I don't think they were bad in what they did. I think it was probably all of us. When you're at the top end of the market that's now shifting, it's so hard to see that.
Yeah, but you should have enough. If you're a good agent, then you just let them. Just let them, but just don't be involved in it. I mean, just go ahead and misprice your house.
Misprice a house.
With somebody else.
Yeah, but you never want to be that first agent mispricing a downward trend, because you really
want
to be the third agent on a downward trend.
I mean, I've done it on your street.
I know you have.
Yeah.
I know you have.
And missed it big time.
I know you have.
Let somebody influence
some
me.
of that's tough, right? Because now on the ones that you missed on the street, you don't have to. Nobody knows where I live. So nobody knows what we're talking about.
149.
No. But it's not. It doesn't even start with a 1. So thank you, Juice. But
I gotta give them the first number. Are you crazy?
I do appreciate that. But
it's 3.
But let's just say on my street, did you counsel them a better price and they just weren't ready for it?
I did, but I also think that it was the biggest house on the street at the time, and it was. And it was brand new.
Bigger than mine.
And it was a little bit bigger.
I mean, I don't know. I'm building a great outdoor kitchen. I'm adding another 1,000.
But it was a double lot. I mean, the math worked.
Okay. I don't want to be the biggest.
The math worked.
Yeah.
But it was, there's a few ways you price, not to go way over into that. But it's not just price per square foot and reconstruction costs, rebuild costs. It's also who's your buyer.
Yeah.
And price point has become really big for us. And that is, we used to look at everything by price per square foot, whatever. Your street's,
yeah,
right under $1,000 a foot right now. But it's
I want it closer.
Damn, what about my street?
I want to sell now.
Well, but if you think about, you could also say, has anything sold above $8 million?
Yeah,
and the answer is no. So you shouldn't price above. I mean, no one's going to pay that. And then as the markets, so there's always that. There's new barriers to entry.
Yeah. At some point, somebody will.
Somebody will. It's probably not this year.
Not this year. No. Maybe 5. I mean, I'm not in. By the way, I'm not in any hurry. But if you want to bring me an $8 million check, I will sell it right away.
I'll sell for $1 million right now.
So I would say that's one. I would say the second one is the attitude of, hey, I'll just try it. I don't have to sell. Yeah. Well, obviously you want to sell, or you wouldn't be. It is not fun to sell your house.
Oh, the try. I just want to test the market.
Yeah,
do you know how much goes behind the scenes to test the market
and all that?
Yeah.
Well, it's not even just that, but it's on the real estate side of it. The time and effort to shoot it, be there, do all that, then the showings after showing after showing, and then we tested it. And thank you for your time.
Again, so let them.
Well, that's one thing we don't recognize about real estate. Like I said, I worked with some really good agents that just didn't pan out during that time. Mm-hmm. And hey, maybe it's me. But
what was their names?
No, I don't want to go down that world but I think that they actually, I think they know what they're doing. I think it just that timing of the market, and then sometimes it's just maybe it's me. Maybe I wasn't focusing as a seller. Maybe a seller gets stuck.
I think you have to own, and hopefully your agent's honest, condition.
Yeah.
So, condition is location for one, right? But it's also, if your house is 10 years old and it's still got, or 15 years old, 20. And it's still got round columns in it, and nobody has round columns anymore, you've got to allow somebody the budget and the resale
to come in and redo everything.
Right? But so I would say those are the big mistakes going in it.
Probably.
And agents is being overzealous about what they, oh my God, I got a listing.
It's a beautiful listing. I'm going to put it out there, and some of that can be good because it can be advertising for you.
Well, there's 3 reasons to take a listing. Mm-hmm. So 1, you hope you sell it. Right. 2 is maintain or gain market share, which is what you're talking about, right? So gain market share, you get Juice to shoot a bunch of video, you put it out in the world. This is how cool I am. I gain notoriety.
This is crazy.
It's another $1 million.
Yeah. And then,
when you shoot it, for sure.
And third, which I find to be actually a viable reason, is a sign in the ground. Because there's nothing more valuable than a sign in the ground.
Really?
Advertising,
Even all the way back in where I'm at.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I remember
because there's people going by there,
driving
right?
to your house. She had 3 signs from my house to your house.
I know she had a bunch of signs.
People call
for a while.
Signs.
Yeah.
People call and it's a brand.
You're
branding
yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, Cindy, what a great information.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
oh my gosh, this is, by the way, like Realtor 101 right here.
We really don't do it anymore.
This is 201.
201. This is the upper echelon. You're getting now your MBA.
Well, I will say this about new agents is all of this, and Juice sees it as much as I do. Can you distinguish any brands? Something beach and something this.
No, they're all.
I mean, they all, and it's like people say, "Well, what should I do about a brand?" I'm like, "Well, what's your name?" I mean, is there anything more interesting?
Cindy, I've never thought about that, but you're totally right. It's 30A this or Sandy, Sandy something, or you're right, beach. Yeah, beach properties,
beachy something.
Yeah, you're totally right.
You got to be yourself. You got to be yourself. We do good reels with her, and she always has good ideas. And it's like, just be yourself. I'm gonna, have a margarita or whatever. Walk through this house.
Juice and I do one take. We
do one take, which is awesome because most realtors like.
I could see that. I could see that for you. Well, the authenticity. That's what I love about you. Your authenticity is just going to come out. Like, and one, you're also a pro, so you're going to nail it. But then there's something about being authentic. It's one thing I always tell when I'm working with clients, even in the pod room and the pod world, is, and I've had people say, well, how many times can we edit this? I was like, none.
That's right.
Like, I'm going to do an editor to put it together, but we're doing one take because the authenticity, if you mess up and you flub up and you say something wrong, honestly, like if it's a bad cough or it's something going crazy, we can cut something out, right? But in general, it's authenticity. That's why
I watch podcasts.
What we're done with
NBC,
normal
CBS,
media. That's right.
CNN,
Normal
Fox.
media is kind of leaving out.
I watch pods
because of that reason.
Think about talk radio and how many people are driving on their way to work that are listening to us jabronis here.
That's right.
Heading on into work. We're their talk radio for that morning.
Yeah.
And honestly, by the way, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Listen to
100%.
us.
I still can't believe it. I still can't believe anybody listens to us. It's absolutely
your audience is growing by leaps and bounds.
It is.
Crazy enough. Brandon said 16,000. I looked at it
What is
2
it?
days ago. It's like 18.3.
Jeez, thank you. The extra 2K. Thank you, you new members.
Audio
this fun
audio
family.
only. I think we were like 3,000 downloads like last week on audio only or something like that. It's crazy.
Crazy. If this goes down after me, I'll be so mad.
Cindy Cole.
Kidding
Come
me?
on, Cindy Cole.
Are you kidding me? Every realtor in America should be literally like diving into this. That's the one thing. If
might be a stretch.
Every realtor in America should be diving into this information because you've taken just years of just marketing and your skills that you learned in Atlanta and then transition it right into what you're doing. I was going to talk to you about buyers, but I know you don't work in buyers, but I do want to ask you this one question. If I'm a buyer, one question I do want to ask you about buyers. If I'm a buyer and I'm coming in to look at something as seasoned as you are, and I tell you, and I know the thing, like buyers should probably be super specific about what they want, right?
They should.
The area they like, just get down into it. I want, like, what are your main things you need? But then once I give you the main things, how many properties do you think I should see?
Well, I'm going to answer that personally first, if that's okay. So if a buyer calls me, I'll say, this is the way I handle it. I say, tell me what you're looking for, and I'll let you know if I'm the right person. If not, I'll send you to the right person. So I would say
that's
like
instant credibility, Cindy. Though, by the
I
way.
love that. I love that. Yeah.
So if they're calling about one of my listings, they're my buyer. So I'm absolutely going to work with them. But if they're not, and they found me on Google or something, I'm going to say 90% of the time they're not my buyer. So I'm going to refer them to somebody.
Okay.
Not always even for a fee. Just sometimes, hey, call this person.
Yep.
I don't even tell the other agent. I'm telling them to call. Everything comes around. All good comes back.
All good comes back. Yeah.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
So, I do that a lot, but I think 3 is plenty to look at.
So 3 feels right.
That's on a TV show. It's 3, man.
Yeah.
Well, you can't always trust those people. That's why I want to ask the question. But I've gone as many as 5 or 6 before, but it starts to blend together. It really does. And I usually always come back to the first 3 or 4.
Because your agent has done a ton of homework before.
Right.
That's what you need.
You hope.
A good agent will.
Yeah.
Right?
We're laughing about a listing I have off 30A right now that you shot, but I can just tell you what this is. So it's a 3-story home. It's 3,200 square feet.
Yep.
It's 6 bedrooms with an on-site pool. It's a rental property, right?
I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's a rental property.
I don't know. I'm trying to think which one it is.
I know it is. I know who built it.
Yeah, so it's a
1.2.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I know where it's at.
it's just under $2 million.
Golly. Holy smoke. Well, I'm not buying it now.
But it has a great income, So anyway,
chunks. Yeah,
it's a rental property.
I know, it is a rental. Honestly, for what it's doing, what is it going to pump out like $200,000 a year?
Yeah. Or
10%
more.
or more. I agree. Or more.
But clearly in the descriptive, it tells you how much rental it's doing.
Yeah.
The rentals numbers are attached.
Yep.
Do you know that more than half of the showings we get are people that are disappointed that it's not a fit for their year-round housing?
Year-round housing?
Yeah. So
they shouldn't even be looking at it. They shouldn't even be looking at it.
The agent show
that is not I would not want to live in a 6-bedroom house that's 3 stories up and down. I don't. I put my the one thing about the builder I work with again, shout out Norman Highland Builders. This guy is a gem.
He's a good dude.
You jabronis would be lucky to have a builder like this.
Yeah.
He's so good. But that was the one thing, master on the main. I couldn't imagine
and
going upstairs.
That's not what this is.
3 times.
No, he built this little neighborhood.
No, it's beds and heads. It's beds and heads. I know the exact neighborhood. I know exactly what you're talking about. They are amazing homes, too.
Probably actually more than half.
All gone, right?
No, they didn't. Well, we've sold some. But,
yeah.
But no, half the agents that show it will say, Yeah, they were really disappointed. They wanted it for year-round housing.
That is crazy.
But I was telling
That's crazy.
the builder, Norm, I said, I really don't want to insult these agents by saying, now, do you understand what a rental property is like?
Well, and by the way, if you are an agent out there that has shown what this for a year-round home, just so we're clear, she's not insulting you. We're just trying to give some feedback.
And just read the listing. Come on, it's got a pro forma.
But it goes back to experience of the agent, buyer's agent, right?
Yeah.
And need to work with Brandon.
We don't need any more real estate agents in this area on 30A, so do not move here. So.
Come on down. The water's fine.
One of the things, and I'm going to hold one. I've got a question about real estate. Probably my last question I'm going to ask you. I'm going to hold to the second half because I do want to. I think it speaks in a transition. But before we move to that, I do want to talk to you about. I know real estate sales in areas, typically in most areas, are a small percentage. Or a large percentage of sales are done by a small percentage of real estate, and I know that you are in that those agents that are doing that percentage of closing in our community. But when you're a young agent, and I know we touched on this a little bit, but is there any more advice that you would want to give to like a young? And I don't mean young even in age. I mean just starting out in real estate. What would you say to try to? Is it just time that gets you to that?
Absolutely not.
Where you're because like you said, we have 5,000 agents here.
Yeah.
Any one of those 5,000 could find their way into those top agents. What are they doing differently? Yeah.
Well, when I look, I mean, with some,
thank you, Brandon.
With some exception, and it's not even 5%.
1%.
Yeah, but with some exception, I would say that we all had other business experience when we came into it. I mean. There is some exception to that. I mean, just some people that just hit the ground running. But I'll have to say when I started to work for Blake, and I worked for him for almost a year, and then the DID, the two DID
kicked in,
yeah. Yeah.
The dueling Ds.
At some point, I was like, DEI? I don't know where we're going.
The dueling Ds. But we're still great friends. But, I just remember telling him in the beginning, he was explaining to me, the split and all this stuff, right? And I was like, dude, I don't care.
Right.
I mean, I could care less what you're charging me. This is what I've made in the real world. If I can't make this much money, then I can't do it.
Yeah.
And it turned out just the workload, I actually couldn't even get to what I'd made before working, in that platform. So, but it's so funny to me how people talk about, well, no, I went over here because my split was better. And I'm looking at them and think, well, you sold one house last year. Like, what did you, or they'll follow the lead, right? I've never had a lead in my entire life. I mean, I self-generate.
Relationships.
Well, I mean, no, I'm a salesperson. I mean, I'll go after it. I mean, it's not just, I'll pick up the phone and dial,
Oh, so you're doing cold calls and all.
I still do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Really? Where do you, I mean, you don't have to tell, but do you have lists that you buy? Or
no.
When you're cold calling, it's from a Rolodex of people.
No, it's very crafted. It's,
I don't want you to give away your secret sauce.
But I mean, right now I'm not doing a lot of it because I don't know that I want to take on a multi-million-dollar listing in today's market.
Yeah.
But no, if I'm going after your neighborhood, I'm going to go after your neighborhood.
Yeah, she's got Kareem on lockdown. Destiny by the Sea on lockdown.
Thanks for that.
She's got a lot of stuff over there on lockdown.
Those two, Driftwood Point. I mean,
thanks there. I hope we can.
Did you sell Jerry Jones's house?
No, it's not sold.
No, I mean,
is it up for sale?
Did he build it? You didn't. You weren't a part of the building.
No, that was before she.
What about Britney Spears?
She never had a house there.
Oh, she had that. What about Taylor Swift?
I don't think that's true.
Wait, Britney Spears didn't own Destiny?
She's dispelling all the stuff.
Rumors.
She's dispelling all the rumors. What about Tom Cruise?
Oh, does he have a house?
I don't know. I'm just throwing out names now. Kane Brown?
Drew Brees?
Kane Brown I know is down here.
No, the most...
Kane's in Sanddeath.
What about Ninja?
No, hold on. The most famous person I showed a house to, he's dead now.
Oh, good Lord.
Music. Toby Keith.
Oh,
he's dead?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Cancer, bro.
I mean, he did have cancer.
Was it cancer?
Was that
it was, yeah. It was things colon.
R.P. Toby.
He went quick.
Shout out to get your colonoscopies.
Toby.
Hey, you know what? Get your colonoscopy. It's not a bad thing.
No, I had one.
Whatever.
year ago, I think.
Did you like it?
Thank you.
You didn't know anything.
I was out
7
cold.
pounds.
Hey, they gave me like propofol or something.
Wait,
it's essentially what they put Michael Jackson to sleep with.
It's Benadryl.
No, I'm telling you,
heavy doses.
I'm telling you, what they put Michael Jackson to sleep with, I get it now.
Shoot.
It was the deepest sleep I've ever had. I woke up feeling $1 million.
It's awesome.
Like 30 minutes.
First off,
I feel like I slept for 12 hours.
They murdered Michael Jackson. He was about to buy Disney World.
Oh, good Lord!
Now get into it, dog.
Now
we've got to it right now.
Now we've gone into conspiracy.
Right.
But look, Juice is about to be canceled again.
It's the truth. I've seen it.
I've seen it. He
it.
saw it on the pod.
That's it.
Dude,
That's
him and Sony was about to. But look, colonoscopy. Isn't that where they just check you? You have to have surgery?
No, it's not surgery. It is a procedure, and I mean, if you
tube up your butt.
I imagine that you could do it awake if you'd like.
No, I thought that's what they just.
It's uncomfortable awake. Don't do it awake.
I imagine it probably is, but I
you
can
know
tell
my
you
background. I sold in that.
Did you really?
10 years. Yeah. You know how many colonoscopies I've seen personally?
What?
Oh my gosh! But
yeah,
that's
man,
gross.
preceptorships with doctors and surgeons.
That's gross.
Endocrinologists. Are you kidding me? It's health. It's not gross.
Well, I don't want to see all that.
But
I will tell you. I did it, and I did it.
You saw
clean
it?
bill of health. No, I did mine, and it's clean bill of health.
I've done one.
All that's good. I'll go back to them again, in a bunch of years from now. But it's important to go back. In fact, I know someone that may or may not be watching the pod that had a polyp, and they told that person to go back 5 years, and they no big deal, everything's benign, but they didn't for like a decade or whatever, and it came back to get them.
You do not have to pass away from colon cancer.
You don't.
You can get
it's so treatable. It's so on top of it. It's so important.
But propofol, just to give you a little hint.
Yeah.
So if you ever need dental surgery, make sure you go to an oral surgeon who'll give you propofol.
Interesting.
And then go to one that also does cosmetic things. So they'll give you they'll do your Botox while you're under.
Come on.
They'll do some injections. It's awesome.
Do it all. I'll tell you what.
I need a little of
that's
that.
who.
I like to be put under when
I
I
need
do it.
some wrinkles gone,
I like to be.
Yeah, Kendra.
Kendra works.
Kendra does.
She administers it.
Put
She
me
does.
out. I don't want to feel them needles.
I went and saw a dental surgeon the other day, and I tell you what, it was. He put me under. I was like, I don't know what it is. Just put me under. I don't want to be here.
Nitrous.
I don't want to be here.
Nitrous.
Cleaning, just put me
I don't
under.
want put everything. Give me the
Nice.
volume and cleaning and everything. I don't want to
You know what
eat
nitrous?
no,
Back
I'm
in the
here.
whippet days.
I went to one dentist one time, had to get a root canal, and he put on the laughing gas and then gave me the forms to fill out some stuff.
While you're on the
gas?
gas?
Yeah, because I guess some of it come over from my regular dentist, the one you see for your cleanings.
Yeah.
But that dentist didn't do root canal. So this was in Atlanta and sent me to a specialist, right?
Yeah.
So this one did a root canal, and I guess he had a lot of information. Hey, can you fill in some more stuff? So I was on laughing gas, and before long, I felt like I was floating in the chair, and it had me fill out all this stuff. And it got down to maybe it's at the top. I don't remember where it was, but it was just your name, and my name was there, but then it said nickname. And so I put in, people like to call me Big Papa.
Yeah, they do.
And so he got in and grabbed my form, and he looked at it. He was like, I just love when we get gas before they filled this paperwork out.
The clipboard to fill out after your own gas.
Like they already have my health insurance stuff or whatever. Yeah. And so I needed to fill out a few more things. I don't know. It's weird. But I did. I remember being.
They gassed you before you were done filling out?
They gassed me.
Is that
I put Big Papa. Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah. So now that we've gone off the show again, let's come back and bring it back around. So I know new agents, to break into that, having a little bit of business mindset helps.
It does, and I think, people think that they can go study under somebody and learn the business and then go on their own, but it's a huge investment.
It is.
To have someone work for you, right?
Right.
And I've done it unofficially. Heather worked for me for a while, but I fully expected Heather to go be on her own, and so I still work with her on things,
of course,
right? But when somebody works for you, the expectation is that they stay for a while, right? Mm-hmm. Not that it's a means to an end.
Right.
So I think buying into giving back as much as you're being given in a relationship is good in a mentor-mentee relationship, but not getting so focused on the split. I can't even imagine that.
Right.
I mean,
focus on the education you're getting.
Right.
That's
and
right.
Building the career.
And build a career to a point.
Yeah, you'll never get it outside of that relationship.
Well, and never burn bridges.
Yeah.
That's probably the number one thing in this real estate business, right?
Right.
Is to never burn bridges. You don't know where you're going to have to work with somebody or when they're going to bring you.
You never know when the next deal is going to happen.
Well, especially in this town.
It is. So nationally, 18% of all agents make it past year 3.
Really?
I would say it's less than that here. You know, and a viable living, maybe there's 100 of us that do very well. And then the drop-off after that is just gigantic. You know,
gigantic.
Yeah.
No, she's exactly right.
Feels like restaurants too, to a degree.
Statistically, though, I think most agents didn't even sell one house.
Did you send me some of that
2024
bottle there?
Oh no, I was gonna.
I've shot for more than
thank you
100 agents that sold a house in 2020.
So, but that's 100.
I feel like it's probably a little higher here, but it's not a lot.
Brandon, did you want this back?
Yep.
Well, 2024 is not a great year either.
Right.
No.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just hard unless you got to be fully committed and understand what each market is, and a lot of that comes through experience and how the market flows. Realtors, agents, professionals like Cindy, they know how this thing goes, and there's very few of those unless you're fully in it every single day, every minute.
Well, and I think
knowing what the market is.
The other thing is I think you got to be focused, right? So when you get into it, it's not just placing a sign. It's not just doing certain stuff. There's a lot of back end and work you're having to do to generate that.
There's
when
only
you say
24
lead,
hours in the day.
You're not there for leads, but if you have your sign out there in branding, that's a lead that's coming from your sign, right? You have certain things you're doing that is driving in that business and finding. You've got a web page. People are finding you from that. There are things that are happening that are doing that. There's a lot of time, even in social media, I've had to jump into the social media foray because I'm doing some of this stuff. But people don't realize, like Mr. Beast, who's one of the largest YouTuber out there, had like 500 videos before he hit one that went viral. And people don't realize Joe Rogan had a podcast for 5 years before he made a dime, got his first check. I mean, the Hawk Tuah girls of the world are not
far and few between.
That's the unicorn, that comes in and gets it. And even then, that person went viral, and it looks like, she may have even committed fraud with this whole coin, this meme coin or whatever it is. And we'll see how that goes. But her stock has really gone down, and it could have been bad advice and everything else. So traditionally, when you think this person was an overnight success, there's no overnight successes, right?
It's just hard work.
It is building and building and building. So even in real estate, what I'm hearing from you is it is putting a plan together and executing, pivot, execute,
and
pivot.
If you're not an expert in business and don't have longevity in it, then get advice. But I think going back to your point a minute ago, people see through inauthentic people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it's like, the world that I work in, and everybody thinks I sell, 5 million and up, and that's just not true.
4 million and up.
No, it's not true. I think my average sale is about 2 million. But the people that want to be in the same world, and you and I travel in a lot of the same circles, but I really am in that world. Yeah. I mean, I can really take them to the restaurants I go to and the charity events. And I drink the same 100%. Wine and I 100%. Go to the same places. And, you can't make that up. So,
but it also didn't start day one.
Well, kind of did. I mean, that's who I am.
From real estate, but not day one. Like you had a business that you were building blocks on from Royston, Georgia.
But I always worked among the people I was familiar with.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So it wasn't always the same people.
You put on the suit till you figured it out, right?
It's just the first one was from the Limited.
That's right. That's right. But that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's almost the fake it till you make it. It's not faking it. It's just saying
it's where
I want to be
now.
there. You dress for where you want to be. Be that person, and that's everything. Not just putting on the clothes, but
It's like
everything.
I've always been pretty confident in data and understanding market trends. So,
well, the numbers mean everything.
In the beginning, you talk about data and market trends in whatever business that you're in, right? Or you learn tech or
numbers, everything.
Yeah, and so I've never tried to do something that I don't do. It's just down here, being social is a big part of it.
It is,
and that's what
for
people want to be around.
For sure.
And raising money for charity, is big, and that's certainly something I've done.
Oh yeah, we'll see you Saturday night, right?
Oh, we're going to talk about that. Before we dive into that, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Before we dive into that, it is time to play the Delve card.
Juice, oh Juice, where are you? We're waiting patiently for what you do. Google Guru, he'll make it right. In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
Are you still good at poker?
Is this
I
going
thought
to
you really
require that I
tailing
do
off.
I left
anything?
my trophy at home.
I thought you really
It'd be fun.
tailing off.
Are we going to?
trophy?
Is this? Do I have to,
Yeah,
You can answer or not answer. We're all answering. Juice has got Delve cards. Delve cards, parents. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Delve cards, DELVE. Delve cards. You can find them online. Boardwalk Games. DelveCard.com. They are an incredible conversational piece. When you got teenagers at your home, we have used these for years. When my kids were teenagers at home, I've got one left, and honestly, we have conversations with her because she ain't got a choice. She's the only one.
You had three, you got one.
Yeah, so we had three. And they'd always come home and say, "How's my day?" I'd ask them, "How's your day?" "Oh, it's okay. Whatever. Oh, this is fine. Everything's fine."
Get that Delve.
What did you do? I don't know. Break out the Delve card and go through a couple of these questions. And so we used to randomly choose them, and there's harder ones and different ones. So we're going to do a Delve card to play it with you, but I'm telling you, if you've got young kids at the table, even if they're 8, 9, they've got different age-associated ones too. But here we go. Delve card, Juice, what's the question?
Are they paying us yet for as long as that intro was the damn Delve card?
Delve is reaching out.
I'm doing it.
Reaching out, bro.
Delve is paying for my new outdoor kitchen. No, I'm just kidding.
What? What? Hey, Delve, I don't have an outdoor. Actually, I like my little outdoor.
I've been keeping those checks from you.
How many pair of boots does Cindy Cole own?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, how many
That's
pair of
not the
boots
question.
That's just my question.
But I do want to know the answer.
How many pair of boots do you own, Cindy Cole?
If you were to guess.
It's my hard-hitting question today.
13.
No,
13?
13? No, she got like 50.
No, not boots.
Well, the
Boots.
knee-high boots, they count, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a boot.
Yeah.
I mean,
20?
I don't know.
You ain't got to
less-
answer. That's not the Delve question.
20 or so,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
What first made you realize you were getting old?
What first?
Old.
Old.
Yeah.
Old
what?
LD.
What first
Can
made
I
you
go
realize
first?
you
Can I
were
go
getting
first?
Go
old?
ahead.
You already nailed it. Eyeballs.
I was going to say, these eyeglasses
Well,
right
I'm
there.
fat. Because
I'm not.
it was awesome when I was younger, but this little chunk right here, it just goes around and it slows you down.
Now, we have to
40s.
put up a high school picture of Brandon when he talks
Did you
about
see
this so we can see what it looks like.
Give me the
Oh,
high
my
school
gosh.
He had an 8-pack?
Abercrombie model.
Oh, we definitely got to put that up.
Oh my gosh!
I need to find.
Abs.
I
Brandon.
wanna see this.
I had
Brandon.
abs with
Brandon
ablets.
went on a cruise trip with some friends that I know and some other friends I don't know. Well, Stitch Knot. I think
Skinny.
Stitch Knot was there.
It's Stick Knot. But
Stitch
anyway.
Knot. You've
Anyway,
already got
He's
me.
bad at
Stick
bad.
Knot.
He's bad at last name.
No, but because Brandon traded me forever that it's Stitch Knot. And then I find
Stick
out
Knot.
from Justin, it's Stick Knot.
It is Stick Knot.
But they went on a trip, and Brandon must have gotten burnt the worst you've ever seen in
I've
your
been
life.
burned before.
He looked like Luther Vandross.
Oh, yeah.
In this
Oh, wow.
photo.
Yeah.
It is
I did.
honestly, he could be canceled for blackface from this.
I didn't mean to.
That's
I just
how
got,
crazy
I get
its
real
burn
dark.
was.
Was it on the
was.
Denny Lube Express camper? What
We're
was it?
talking
I go on
early
the sound, I get really
20s.
dark.
Early 20s. I saw this.
Yeah, man.
I saw this picture in a family album, and I was like, nobody should see this picture. You could be canceled.
I was like a buck.
But you just told everybody.
65.
Well, we don't. Nobody watches this podcast. It's still our podcast.
Cindy Cole. They will now that she's on here.
Yeah.
She's
She finna blow it.
famous.
She finna blow it up.
The worst part is Brandon's camera just died while we were talking about him
about
being the
B-Money.
blackface.
Oh, we got the wide angle. It'll go to the wide angle. Honestly, this would be a good break. Let's take a break real
No,
quick
we got to
right here.
finish answering this question.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
this
yeah.
question. All right,
what
let's
first
answer.
made you realize you were old?
I'm not.
I
don't know
agree
what
with you.
you're-
I don't know how to answer this.
Yes,
I can't answer
Cindy.
this.
Yes.
I mean,
It was
I
my
don't-
eyeballs.
They said
Mine's my
eyeballs. I'm like, I just had a baby, so I'm not old.
You're
Yeah,
not
no,
old.
you're old. You'll
Yeah.
be old when that baby's 20.
I'll say my back, pinched nerve in my back, I've had that since football, so that's not it. Yeah.
You have to get that fixed later. That hurts. It hurts more.
Yeah, I am, like you're saying, the eyes, I guess. But I look at the computer all day, so I feel like it's reading stuff up close now is a little
You
tough.
are grouchy, but you've probably always been.
He's always been grouchy. I think I can see that.
I don't put up with BS. I'm like you, though. I don't put up with BS. I pick who I want to work with and all that.
No, I always begin a shoot by saying, "What's our mood today?"
That's so good.
Well, because Cindy shows up 10 minutes late all the time.
She has nailed Juice to a T. She has nailed Juice to a T. I have seen Juice at poker games lose out early and get so bad and be like, I'm out. I don't even want to be here anymore.
Because I just lost $100.
I get it. Yeah. That's why I don't play. Because I'm going to lose $100
You got to stay around to have fun. You got to stay around to have fun.
He got mad at me one time. You remember I got you to paint my yard green?
Yeah. Hey, good for you.
Yeah, did you paint it? No, I had somebody else paint it.
She wanted me to Photoshop the grass to make it much greener because it was like January or something, so the grass was dead. But it was like 20 photos. I'm like, I can do it. It's going to take me forever. This is like, now it's a lot. I can do it a lot quicker now.
Oh, well, technology and where it's at. Yeah,
Grouchy.
Yeah.
I could see
I'm like, how about we shoot your house
Honestly,
in March or April?
He's got a little bit of Oscar the Grouch look to him, doesn't he?
Grouchy.
I don't know what he does on the show, but
this is a great spot to
she
take
should have sold it
a
in October. And she
but then I had
January.
to pay somebody to come and fly a drone and paint the yard because he wouldn't Photoshop.
He painted the yard with a drone? No.
Yeah, he did.
You got another photographer?
No, I had to have a painter and then Groucho to come back and shoot it.
Groucho.
Oh, man. But she sold it for $2 million.
So there you go.
What I love about it is, that's how good Juice's work is, though. That's what's crazy. Otherwise, you wouldn't put up with it, right?
I don't know.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
That's fine. I won't.
All right.
Hey, y'all. New customer of True North Pest Control here on the Emerald Coast, Central Florida, Georgia. You got to check them out.
Yeah, they get rid of all the unwanted pests in your house, including termites and mosquitoes. Tell them the jabroni sent you. Back to the show.
So, yes, we just finished off with the Delve card, which is always a fun thing to do. So, Cindy, I know you are a person of faith. I mean, how did you come to your faith?
So I grew up like you, I believe, in fundamentalist religion.
I wasn't quite a fundamentalist, but I'm with you there.
Fundamentalist religion, and
I was.
And
Royston, you were for sure.
Yeah, but in looking back, the foundation of it was lovely, and it gave me a lot of biblical knowledge. I think it didn't have enough of a filter for a child.
Tongue talkers?
Do what?
Tongue talkers?
I mean, I've seen it before.
Okay.
It wasn't
snakes.
No.
Okay.
It was
just understanding where we're at.
It was on a college campus, so it was
What college?
Emmanuel College.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I left the church and religion for a long time in my 20s, and found Methodism at 40. So
Methodism. I love
much
it.
more middle of the road, and I gravitated to it. Peachtree Road United Methodist Church in Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
Charles Wesley, right? Methodist.
No, he's bad. No, Charles.
John Wesley.
John Wesley.
Yeah, John Wesley.
Yeah. Who's Charles Wesley?
I thought they had a brother.
I don't know. He probably had a brother.
Yeah.
But he came up with methods.
I don't know.
Follow daily principles.
Well, yeah, John Wesley for sure.
John Wesley.
John Wesley for sure. Charles probably a distant kin.
I'm thinking about Charles Stanley.
Charles Stanley was a Baptist. First Baptist Atlanta was Charles Stanley.
Right.
Andrew's his son.
And then Andy's his son. Which
and then his son.
Andy's son. Well, Andy Stanley is non-denominational. Yeah. He broke off, and that's North Point Church and the communities around him. They're probably one of the largest churches in America, only because if you consider all their satellite campuses and everything else.
Big.
I mean, it's massive. But they certainly in their core campuses, you have Brownsbridge, North Point, Buckhead, South Side. I think now
Atlanta's covered.
They've got a lot. They've got 4 or 5 massive churches. I think there's one in Athens now that's a satellite where Andy, will show up on typically at North Point, but he'll show up on stage at one of them, and the rest of them will drop a screen down. I mean, from the ceiling, drop a screen down and look like Andy's on the stage.
That's so cool.
But through 3D, and they live stream it on all this. So you go in, so each of them have a band. same exact setup on the stage, and then when you don't really know where he's now, again, probably 50% of the time or more, he's at North Point. But even if North Point, if you've ever been there, North Point has a North Auditorium and South Auditorium.
It's been a long time.
So you could go in one auditorium and he'd be on that side, and you're getting the screen on the other. Honestly, you don't. If you've ever been to a big church that puts their pastor up on a screen, and you're sitting in an auditorium, you tend to watch the screen anyway.
Just like a rock
like
concert.
Dallas Cowboys game.
Yeah. So
Like
before you know it, you're not even thinking about the fact that he's not quote unquote there. It's the message that he's delivering. So honestly, it's very ingenious how they do it. It's one of the most technologically advanced churches that I know of, certainly that I've been around. And shout out Jace Fincher. He was part of the Marvelous Three and runs a lot of the sound equipment. He gave me a backstage tour of it. He had a massive group called the Marvelous Three back in like the 90s. And I think the lead singer was Butch Walker, who's gone on to be an amazing producer out in L.A., but Jace does a lot of stuff with the sound stuff over at North Point and does great things out there. So shout out to Jace. At any rate, yeah. So I get what you're saying, coming from that world.
So I came to know a deep personal relationship with Jesus that I had not known, it necessarily when I grown up, because it was all about earning, and certainly didn't understand the concept of grace at all. But I just try to live according to what I understand right to be and to do right by people, but to live definitely in a deep relationship and abiding relationship.
No, there's been times I've been in churches before where I always call it like Grace 1.0. It's like you're so close. You're so close.
Yeah.
And understanding that it's not about you and it's about what Jesus did. Right?
Right.
Because we get that, right? So
and I'm probably close.
Yeah.
I'm probably never quite there, but, I enjoy leading by example and turning some people on to the message as I understand it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think right. Faith's so personal. It's one of those personal things to figure out and how to navigate through that. And the one beautiful thing I love about Jesus, and it's one thing that I have to offer grace. In other words, something that I could keep in and say, well, you may not deserve this from me, but I should just accept you as you are. And your feelings of it is the fact that Jesus, if we believe that that God was Jesus, Jesus was God, came down to this world to know everything about us, but he was fully human and fully God at the same time, and he fully had relationships with different people. You had a relationship with Matthew and Zacchaeus,
different with John,
Peter and John, and different relationships with different people in the Bible. And it's clear that he had all these relationships. There many times we try to kind of pigeonhole Jesus in this is the only way you can experience Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you heard that he's the same yesterday as he was, he's same today as he was yesterday. Mm-hmm. There's some truth in that, but literally people take it as how he spoke then is how he speaks. But Jesus was a friend to these people. And so if his relationship was different with everyone, well, my relationship with you is different than your relationship with Juice.
Oh, I'm so glad.
No, right. But why wouldn't your relationship with Jesus be slightly different than how you experience
with Juice?
Right,
yes.
Right.
Certainly with Juice.
Look at my beard, dude. Come on. I look the most like Jesus.
I don't know that he had great. Although
he probably did
40 years, probably
no,
like 33. I'm sorry, 33. You're right, 33 years.
That's not what I am
right.
now. 33.
Right. And then, so you kind of mature, just grew through your faith over time, is really what you would say.
Yeah, I mean, became more comfortable in that skin and being that person, right? And certainly being imperfect and terribly flawed.
I think understanding that self-awareness of your own.
And showing up in that space, and still professing faith. Mm-hmm. And not everybody agrees with, everything that I think. And I'm okay with that. I mean,
think that's good. Let them. Right?
Yeah,
let them.
Yeah.
Let them. We're giving her some play right
now.
Oh,
my gosh.
We're giving her so much play.
Well, my book club that Danielle's a part of now is gosh, sometimes we have over 30 people in my house that come to it. And I usually do some controversial things, a couple times a year. And
Satan worship, anything like that?
No. Some faith-based, but certainly there's some dogmatic fundamentalist opinion in the group.
Oh, sure.
And,
sure.
There's not a large number of those, but there are some, and you can tell that there's forces in it that want to go at, and it's just like you just kind of let everybody just be in their space.
The thing that's always bothered me about the dogmatic kind of world in that side is that a lot of times they'll look, well, if you don't think the way I think, then you're not going to heaven. It's almost like some of that. There is some of that, but you have to move from that.
Judged.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know?
Oh, I got over that a long time ago.
Right.
I really did.
You know what? A lot of people have it.
It's what hurts. It's part of that church
millions
hurt.
and millions and millions.
We've covered that one already.
A couple times.
How many times? Juice 13.
Yeah. Juice knows he's like, all right, we're done here.
Yeah. Next topic. Well, so kind of moving from faith, and it's not actually outside of the world of it, though, is that I know the Emerald Coast Children's Advocacy Center holds a special place in your heart. We had Julie Porterfield on earlier this season, and she just crushed it. We're so excited about her.
I haven't seen it often.
It's so good. She did such a great job, and walks through what they do, and we hear a little bit of her story, and it was just amazing. But what made you get involved with that organization?
Well, she asked.
Well, right, but she had to know. Did she just know you from the street? I mean, Cindy from the block.
I'm still Cindy from the block.
I mean, a lot of times people think that you're too busy to ask to do anything. And in Atlanta, I was on several boards, but I'd never been on a board here. I'd just never, frankly, been asked, but nobody could believe that.
Yeah.
Everybody thought I was on multiple boards because I did show up at charity. Has anybody ever asked you to be on a board here?
I've been on a number of boards, but charity boards down here, I've had one person ask me, and I respectfully declined.
Was it because it wasn't something of interest to you?
I think that's really what.
Yeah. So I mean, you should be on a board.
But I mean, let's not go crazy.
But I mean, I'm just saying, she asked, and obviously it's viable. It's a great charity.
It is a great charity,
extremely well run. So. I mean, it's been a pleasure to help them. We've raised a lot of money. But, it's just like I told my pastor the other day, she asked me to be on some committee, and I tried it for a minute, and I love her to death, and I love the church so much, another United Methodist church that I found here. But it was a task committee. Once I got in it, it was, a list. And that's just not me. I mean, I don't really do that very well with that. And so I just told her what I was good at, and I said, when you get ready, if you need to raise money, call me. But I mean, I'm not really good at any of this other stuff.
Running around, and
you're an ID.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just not really good at it.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
Julie, I think, recognized what I was good at, and so it's
because you serve on the board there.
I do serve on the board. I do serve on the board.
Chairwoman?
I chair development.
I like it.
Which is raising money.
That's raising money. That's right down your line.
Yeah. Which is how you're near and dear to us.
Well, I do like good charities that I can.
I mean, it's the best charity there is. I mean,
it's
there is.
Great. It really, honestly, out of a lot of the ones I do, I'm very fortunate for sure in life. And I enjoy finding places that I know are going to use the funds for really, really good things. And by the way, if you've heard a no from me, I apologize that I've gotten really good at no's because I have certain things that I'm just really involved in, and I want to be really generous with that.
Me too.
Especially where I'm planted. Yeah. I do some things globally, like Charity Water I've mentioned before. I love that organization. But I love ECAC. They're definitely on the top of our list of groups that we work with. And then
I've never heard it.
You've never heard of ECAC? I always call it ECAC, ECCAC.
We call it CAC as a real short.
Emerald Coast Children's Advocacy Center. I always say ECAC.
I like it.
I don't know why I say ECAC. I think I said it with Julie. I thought it is catchy. Let's start the trend.
Yeah.
ECAC, baby.
ECAC. Everybody on board.
ECAC, baby. So Acts 20:35 says, "In all things I have shown you that by working hard in this way we must help the weak and remember the words of the Lord Jesus. Now he himself said, it is more blessed to give than receive." Why do you think leaders should be givers?
Because we can, right? And I think money's part of that. And I certainly I've certainly known times in my life when I couldn't give anything.
Sure,
so
100%.
That's very real and very present memory. There's a little PTSD tied to that. But fortunately, as of late, I've been able to do that. But more than that, for me, I give back my knowledge, and usually I give that to women, trying to lift them up in a place of increased earnings. And give women confidence in the arena of in whatever field they're in. That part of not necessarily success as they measure it, but success at some level, but also just viability in a career. And I think it's something that men have long realized is earning the maximum amount of money that you can earn, and not only changing your life through that, but changing the lives of your family and generationally, and changing the lives of other people. And that's my cause in giving, if you would.
I love it.
Yeah.
So one of the things you said to me, one of those late night conversations we've had before.
That you remember these.
Sometimes people don't think I'm listening, but the ADD only causes my attention span, but doesn't necessarily always
got
stop
a memory
everything.
like an elephant. Says you're screwed.
Just don't talk to my wife sometimes. So one of the things that I remember you mentioning is that about real estate and how you've seen it help.
Oh yeah,
single mothers, but and maybe single parents in general, but how that's helped to really create some opportunities for them. And I know you just held a retreat for women. Can you speak a little bit into that world?
Well, I don't think the two are aligned. Although
maybe not.
Well,
we can go from one to the other.
They could be. But I've actually met women, and maybe you have too, and maybe you have Juice.
She always knows him as Jason, by the way. But
But I mean, I've met people at the brokerage who were a bartender 2 years ago, and maybe not, a very successful bartender, but trying to work to buy tires for their car.
Yeah.
Right. And they got into real estate and were good at it, like dead gum good at it.
And crushing it. Yeah. Making crazy money. Yeah. Right off the bat.
It, right.
Right.
But they're still maintaining that gratefulness and that, they might be driving a big old Mercedes by
that's
now.
few far in between. And
right. But it's just amazing to watch. And that's part of my love and messaging, not just in real estate, but girl, you've got talent and you've got drive. Get out of this situation, whatever it is.
Good call.
And hard work and risk will help you do that. Just go take some risk.
And by the way, that is a good lesson for any industry.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not just real estate.
But the real estate gives you that ability for if you can
just the huge jump.
Yeah,
right?
there's a small entry barrier for getting the test and taking the coursework.
Right.
But then after that, study, pass the test, and paying a license with someone that you can learn from and just pound the street, hard work it.
Yeah.
And you
figure
can develop,
it out.
You can develop a book of clients from that. Yeah.
But I mean, I see it all the time.
It just changed people's world.
Changing their lives. Right?
I know you told me that, and I never saw it that way.
Yeah. And it's, I'll still see their timidity around, they can't believe their own success, or they're not really comfortable in that space. They're not really comfortable asking the big questions, right? Because they just still don't believe they naturally belong in that space. But they do. I mean, they do, and they've done it through hard work and ingenuity, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so amazing to watch. But the retreat's, a different love.
Right, so that's a different love. Tell me a little bit about this retreat that you just put on. Women's retreat was 8 women, I think I heard.
I invited 8 women. So I'm a retreat junkie.
Are you really?
I am. And so I try to retreat at least once a year. So I've been, everywhere. Do you know Miraval? I don't know if you know Miraval. It's a spa out in Tucson. But
sounds like I should.
Yeah, you should.
You said spa.
I've been to Sedona, but
yeah. Well, that's
but you said spa. That's one of my favorite words.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite words.
It's a holistic wellness spa. So, I've been to.
Do they do mushrooms?
They don't yet. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't people there doing them, but it's not.
There's a couple. It's not so much. There's a couple things. Not so much for. There's a reset in that value.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I just want to like go out and get high. There's like I've really been discovering a little of that and that holistic. There's
an article in the New York Times about it. Yeah,
it's real thing.
Yeah,
New York City.
But it what? No, it's not that. But it. I mean, I've been there 11 times. I've been to monasteries. I've been to church camp. You know, I've been to riding retreats many times. I mean, I've been to Mexico to ride. So I'm a retreater. You know, so I like to go away and concentrate on something and learn something, and it may just be how to be quiet or be still. So there's a really
seeking self-improvement and a desire to
better yourself,
think better, and to be able to know yourself better and to know your faith better in the faith world retreats is never a bad thing. Whether it's a marriage retreat or a counseling retreat or a spa retreat, all of those things can be incredible. Are really powerful times.
They are, and so this was my first foray into giving some of that back.
Okay,
so I just selected women who had done a lot of self work, probably with therapists, not just. Yeah. And then I brought in a nationally renowned therapist from South Florida, who I had spoken with many times, and
you hold it here.
I had it at my house. So
all 8 people in your home.
We did a daytime retreat.
So they stayed somewhere else.
Some were local.
Yeah.
But some stayed in a hotel, even if they were local. And then the people from out of town stayed in a hotel. And it was 2.5 days, which is short for a retreat. But the topic was self-forgiveness and compassion. And it was 2.5 days on that. So it was very intense.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do 2 in a row next February, but I'm going to do them at a destination.
And how many days?
2.5. It's not enough.
So you're going to do 2 in a row, so it'll be like 5 days?
I'll do probably one week and one the next, and have the therapist stay for 2 weeks.
Okay, so you'll do 2 different groups.
I will.
Will you keep it at 8, or will you expand?
Yeah, 8's about
enough.
it. Yeah. Okay. And I lost money on the first one, but it
ain't about that, right? You break even.
I make money.
You break even at least. Yeah.
Look,
I
want to give back,
but you want to make some money. Well, you got to pay the therapist.
There's no therapist that I've seen do well that just Paul. I don't know in the Bible.
Yeah, she was paid well.
Yeah. I know she was paid.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
But it was amazing. I made the mistake of also participating and hosting.
Probably not.
So it was too much. But I had help. I had a lot of help. But I'll correct that next time. But the group was unbelievable. Everybody knew me.
Okay.
But they didn't all know each other.
Okay.
And I think the thing that I did really well is I selected the right people that fit together.
How will you do that the next time?
How do you figure that?
How will you figure that the next time?
I think it's a bit of a secret sauce for me because book clubs like that.
Okay.
I'm like the poker league, bro.
Yeah. Maybe.
You got to figure out the right people.
The right sauce.
Well, it's like
got the sauce maker.
Real central to me in book club is the protection of people and what they say and their opinions. And everybody doesn't agree with everybody, and that's okay. Yeah. But it is not okay to ever walk outside that room and talk about it.
Yes.
That's not okay. I'll fire you from book club.
You already know everything that happens in book club.
Well, that's okay. I don't care. Danielle's
out. Number one rule is we don't talk about book club.
Why did JB get a divorce?
Danielle's kind of like an ID. She'd start her own dang book club in that case.
But I don't care if she tells you.
I know. I'm just teasing you. I'm actually teasing you.
I think that everybody felt very safe
100%.
at the retreat and not and okay with being vulnerable.
Right.
And that took a minute, but everybody had done a lot of work on themselves already, so it wasn't 101 in any way. But I might do one that's 101.
Yeah.
What's it called? Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm probably thinking. Not so much mushrooms. Probably more ayahuasca.
You get some good stuff out of that.
They do some of those down in. One of the funniest stories about retreats. I used to do youth counseling, and in fact, I still counsel some of the guys that were in my youth groups that I did that are now adults, and one of them just had a baby. I mean, shout out Angel, man, and but and I married him actually. So these guys are now in their, I don't want to say 30s, but
damn, you're old.
But maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know, guys. So at any rate, one of the funniest things about doing the youth retreat stuff and the summer camp youth stuff, the funniest parts is the last night of these youth camps. And if you have ever been a youth camp counselor, you'll know this. And if you've been a youth camp participant, you will know this. But the last night is like this come to Jesus deal, right? They bring it down, and like everybody, like you've been studying, you've been walking through your faith, you've been hanging out on the beach, and so they play all the songs that pull on the heartstrings and all the altar calls, and everybody has decided that they're going to follow Jesus, right? I mean, they have laid their life down and they prayed it up. And by the way, beautiful scene, and everybody's crying and hugging, and it's all these emotions that come out of it. It is beautiful. I don't want to take away from, and I don't think that it's inconsequential that those moments don't last years and years and years down the road, and that these kids now don't think back about it. But the best part is that this one youth camp I was at, they would have this altar call, and then because the bus ride would be back to Atlanta, the next day, kids. You know how young kids can be, and the buses can be rowdy. Well, if you keep them up late at night, then they sleep on the way back. The whole way back. So we'd go to this bowling alley and in like midnight bowl after the altar call. So within a few hours of midnight bowling, the music that would come on and how these kids would start crying, like all religion had been lost.
Oh, no.
Within a few hours.
3 hours ago.
So it's just so funny on the altar call and then the booty call.
Yeah, why did y'all go to bowl
altar
after
call
that,
and booty call?
Lost momentum.
I wasn't the leader of
momentum.
this particular retreat. But, again, I'm not taking away of the sincerity of the moment. And it was just always this contrast that I always found funny in the youth group.
The human duality.
The human duality. Again, I'm not taking away from it because I'm telling you, if you've been to one of these camps or you've done that all, I've seen youth that remember that moment, and it doesn't take. It's the duality of humanity, and understanding that, and part of it is just maturing through faith, and so I think those moments still pass through the years and stay with you. But I always, for a counselor looking from the outside watching, I always thought that was so funny. You just gave your life to Christ, and now you're like, dry humping this girl on the side.
They're also in puberty, right?
They are.
It's just part of the time. It's just part of the time. It's just part of the time.
These ladies were far past puberty.
100%. Y'all weren't doing that moment. Y'all weren't doing that moment. That was just a moment of clarity. But that's that.
We weren't
doing. What do you call the retreat?
I don't know. I mean, the brand that I like for it, and I like for
Cindy Fine Homes.
No, that one seems to work. I think I'll just keep that one. But is Brave Enough? But Cheryl Strade's already done it, so I don't know.
Who cares?
So,
what do you want to do with that? Like, do you have a location?
Brave enough to.
Hey, you know what? I'll sleep on it. I'll give you the name.
Well, I think that's
Look, she passed right through that.
If you want to do a location, maybe that could help come up with a name.
Well, I don't.
She wants to do it off location. She's wanting to do.
Yeah, you want to do somewhere.
It's not just the retreat. I mean, I've been.
I see where you're headed with the name.
Yeah.
I'll think about it and throw you like 3 of them and see if it sticks.
If podcasts weren't so much work, I'd probably do one of those, but I don't have time to do that.
Hey, I know a guy that can help you produce one and make it really easy.
JB.
You sit down and talk about stuff. It's a lot behind the works. It's a lot behind the works. It's a lot behind the scenes. It's a lot more behind the scenes for sure. I want to ask you, as a female business leader, what do you want young women out there to know that would help them on their journey to leadership?
I think that embracing other women and lifting them up. I think a lot of times, and not just women, but men can think this as well, is you think that there's only limited opportunity in the world. There's only so much to go around, and that's not true. I mean, there's unlimited opportunity, and it just, I think it's a universal rule that the more people that you share knowledge with and hope and positive stories and good thoughts, that the greater and larger your world becomes in business. So I just don't think enough women have learned that lesson. Instead of holding on to information, you share it. And just be an open book to people.
Brilliant.
I think, Brenda, don't you just think there's a real fear in real estate of, I can't tell anybody this? But
it is. You don't want to. It's a tricky balance, and you're kind of on the edge of a blade all the time.
Oh, I just think you tell them whatever they want.
Gary, be honest.
Gary V, who's social media, Varner Media. Gary V, you can check him out online, but he's been posting stuff. He's this massive media group, but he started out his dad was an immigrant and started a little wine shop in New York City, and so he started like selling wine online. They're one of the largest online wine retailers now, but then he's turned it into so much more. And again, Varner Media, if you know anything about Gary V, and he's got a lot of entrepreneurial lessons to it, but he started giving away everything they were doing free.
Give it away.
He just, all the information, how they sold wine, how they priced wine, how they tasted wine, how they rated wine, all this stuff online. And he was doing social media before it was cool.
Right.
I mean, he had, years of social media before he actually really started doing it.
Right.
And his dad, being an immigrant and coming in, was like, whoa, we can't tell our secrets. And he was like, Dad, we're going to tell our secrets because our competitors don't even know what they're doing.
Right. Well, just tell it.
And we're just going to tell it, and we're still going to execute better than that.
Right.
So execution doesn't
because you're always learning.
It.
But it's always okay to help somebody else. There's never a bad time to help. I think you nailed it, Cindy. It's not like there's a finite amount. There's an infinite amount.
An infinite amount.
Wealth can be
that's great advice, Cindy.
But
wealth is created.
If you'll allow me to, I'll plug another business I'm involved in.
Please.
So,
this is your pod here today.
Clayton Bonjean.
Yes, Clayton.
Clayton, who owns
I love Clayton, by the way.
Mainsail Realty.
He helped my mom buy her house.
Clayton's an awesome guy.
Great dude.
And for years, he and I have been talking about, let's do something together. It just never, we looked at a couple real estate franchises, buying those together, and he's a totally even on the disc, by the way.
Really?
He's almost perfect.
Doesn't he play a band in the church? Play in the church band or something like that? And he also like a little band too, right?
No, he's in Cadillac Willie.
That's right.
He's the founder of it.
Okay.
Patrick Wilson.
But he's also just a great guy of great integrity. He's one that's in the category I'm talking about. You can call him for anything.
We got to get them on here. That'd be a great group.
Look at him on. Yeah.
So he and I have been talking about doing something together for years. And last summer, when the market started to slow down, I was in Atlanta, and I was just kind of thinking about how to supplement real estate. What can I mean, because I'm not that I don't love real estate, and I don't plan on continuing to do it forever. But, it's slow enough now that I can think about how do I want to supplement this, what do I want to do with it. And he called and said, hey, look, we've been talking about this for years. I know you don't want to start a vacation rental company because you don't want to manage it, but that's what I do. Mm-hmm. He's an MBA from Ole Miss. He's a management guy.
Howdy.
He said, yep. He said, you just go get the clients and I'll manage it. He's a great systems guy.
Great.
So
he's great at develop the website, right? He's a good.
My mother literally selected him as her agent. She didn't know an agent from anywhere.
Because
the
website.
The website is why she selected him.
He's a master.
His website. She will say it to this day.
He's a master.
This is why I said.
And he's such a nice guy. But so he said, so let's just do it. And so we did. And so we started Osprey Vacation Rentals at the end of the year. And Clayton is.
Is there a website?
There is. Osprey Vacation Rentals.
So OspreyVacationRentals.com. We'll throw that up there.
Throw that up there. And Clayton is the systems guy. He insists on touching everything in this initial phase. So pulling every permit personally, going in and meeting the people at the county, understanding every step of every way. Now, obviously, we'll hire. He has put a severe governor on me. like no, and we've had some bigger opportunities that have already come.
What's the governor for? What?
He's like,
probably limiting how fast you're going to run.
You're trying to have 50 houses in a year or something. Yeah, you can't.
Especially if you're trying to build the systems out and figure
things.
Seems
like go big or go home.
Slow down. So we've got 5 not like kind properties, but like kind enough. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they're not. Like, we don't want to go all the way to Inlet Beach. We don't want to go necessarily way down in Destin.
So you're looking like Miramar Beach, basically.
Well, to Santa Rosa Beach. You know?
So you've got a little bit. We just talked with Radiant Resort Properties, and I know that's a competitor to a degree. But
she met
David and Jill Oliveras, and they stay kind of really Miramar Beach, Scenic Highway.
And
the condo you talked about, the photos were AI.
Right.
Yeah.
She had the listing.
And I gave it to them.
Yeah. So, that's the beauty of who you are. Is in collaboration, right? Two people can compete in the same place, and it just makes it better.
Right. Ours is a bigger house.
Bigger houses. Yeah. They're doing like 2s and 3s on condos on the water.
They're doing condos, Gulfront. Yeah.
On the water.
People are very pleased with them, and Clayton is extremely protective of the review. It's all about the review.
It is.
And making sure that people are happy. So I think we definitely aren't making any money yet. But but one niche, which is interesting, and y'all know how I like to improve properties, and Clayton, of course, is the lineage of Lovelace.
That's right, Lovelace Interiors.
Is his mom, and he ran Lovelace for years. So. Yep. 2 of the first ones we've taken have needed what I call a lipstick renovation, which means I went in for free. No, not Lovelace. It's Cindy for free.
Yeah, Cindy for free.
It's not Lovelace level.
Clayton,
but it's close.
Clayton and his wife did one, and I just finished the other one, the one you're shooting Monday.
Okay.
So I call it, a lipstick renovation. It's not it's just fresh and clean, and Katie, his wife, has insisted on us having the best linens in the entire industry, and people are already like, "Oh my God, these linens are incredible!"
Okay.
And
how are you making sure that the cleaning people deliver these incredible linens back to you when they're done cleaning?
We're so far washing them in the house.
Okay,
yeah. Okay. So
that's always the thing. Is like we bought really nice linens in one of our rentals, and they take them back to place, and then they wash them with other stuff, and then they get mixed up. And you get back, you're like, wait, this is like
because they're white or whatever.
Yeah, this is like this is the Temu version.
Yeah, no, we're doing them in house so far.
That's actually smart. Good luck.
We've got it. We're running enough crews to be able to do that, but
that's smart.
I think he's.
I also agree with her on sheets. When you're in Destiny by the Sea is an incredible place to rent a home,
right?
And it is an incredible spot. It's an incredible spot.
Like private beach.
It's an incredible spot. If you have the opportunity to rent a home from Destiny by the Sea, you should check out Osprey. Osprey Rentals.
Vacation
Osprey. I understand what an Osprey is. Jeez. Osprey. I wanted to get the .com right. OspreyVacationRentals.com. Find their Destiny by the Sea, and if you can rent that, that'd be great. But having the sheets mean something. Mattresses mean something.
Yeah, they do.
They really do.
I don't know that those are perfect, but they're close enough.
Yeah, I mean, we were with a group for a long time. There's a vacation group that there's kind of like executive vacation group where you could rent these homes all across really the planet. They'd have.
You were with Inspirato.
We were for a long time. Yeah. I finally. I don't want to talk really bad. I hate to talk bad about companies.
Let's do it. I want names.
But I found that there were some other opportunities. Yeah. In the beginning, they were incredible. I mean, they really were. Brandon came on several of them. They went public, and the original founders aren't there with them the same way. And again, I don't want to talk about it. They'll figure it out or they won't. Right? What the hell do I know? But I mean, I will tell you that originally,
it was
amazing.
The
mattresses were all the same, bed sheets were the same, and it was something that I enjoyed, whether I was in Costa Rica or Rome. It was always a really great mattress and a really great bed sheet. So that you wouldn't think that'd matter, but
the bed matters.
It does matter. It does matter.
Right. 30 year vacations
8 hours
on the
of your
bed.
day right there. Right, that's a 30-year day,
especially if you're newly married.
Right,
but
or if you're 48, it don't matter.
Yeah,
it's 8 hours.
Vacation.
That's right. So Osprey Vacation Rentals definitely pointed out. I think you guys are doing a great job. It sounds like 5 rentals. You're getting the systems down. You're figuring it out.
It's a baby.
It's new.
Right? That's why they're not doing good numbers because it's brand new.
I mean, I've helped other companies build their companies.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, 100%.
And several of them. And I'm really good at knowing what production a home will do just by looking at it. I mean, I can just glance at it and tell. But and what goes into it that not only makes it rent well, but what you need to do to it during the rental period to make it sell well eventually. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily have that skill. They want to do one or the other. But, everything for me, you're going to eventually sell the house.
Yeah.
So what's the perfect blend right now of keeping it in good condition, but also maxing out your rental income
100%.
so that it'll be attractive to somebody,
100%.
right? So, and I mean, Clayton, certainly philosophically shares the same thing. So I think we're doing something a little different than most people do in that arena.
Would you guys come back on? I mean, bring Clayton one time.
Yeah.
Clayton's
I love Clayton. When you guys get this system, which you're probably close.
His guitar.
I do. I want to get y'all back in. We'll do some sing stuff. We'll talk about vacation rentals and go dive deep into like what people maybe I'll work with you. We'll come up with where we'll go with that.
Sure.
I would love to have you guys back on and Clayton. I love Clayton and we'll get him to bring his guitar. We'll sing some songs. That'll be fun.
We'll harmonize up on this.
Plus Clayton's like it's his uncle-in-law or something like that. Which
one?
Emerald.
It is, I believe this is correct. So Emerald's married to Susan, Clayton's mom's niece.
Okay.
So
I don't know how it works in his lineage.
Yeah, but they're all, they're
connected.
They're a big
I know he's had dinner at the home, at the house, and I would love to hear about his dinner parties. They're family, and I'd love to hear about his dinner parties with Emerald Lagasse.
Well, he's not going to talk about that. They're so laid back.
I want to talk about the best steak he's ever had.
Yeah, they are the most laid back family.
And for sure.
Non-assuming.
But we want to get you guys back on because this has been so much fun. I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this, Cindy.
Time has flown.
It has. We've come to the end of this show, but it has been such a great time, and I know it's taken us a long time to get on. Like I said before, we've talked about doing this pod before the pod was even real.
Though.
And I am too.
We waited.
Well, there's bigger audience now, Cindy. You're going to take it on in. But hey, we're still just a $10
She said,
podcast.
I don't want to be a guinea pig. That's what
That's right.
Me.
She said, I want to see if this thing's going to take off.
It's legit now.
No, we're just teasing. We're just teasing. But here's the time I like to say, listen up, kids. Listen up, kids. Leadership isn't just formed over time, although time is an essential component. But leadership is forged daily by doing and executing, just like my great friend Cindy Cole's been talking about these past few hours. By seeing the need and filling the gaps, that's what leaders do. And here's the thing. It's never too late to start. But you know what? What the hell do I know?
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.